School of Real Estate, wonderful customers and students. I'm Rita Santamaria. I'm the owner, founder of Champions School of Real Estate. And as you've been told by your instructors, by the staff, by Facebook, all of our wonderful social media, we have two fine champions here today that we're going to be talking to. I first of all want to say thank you for your business in Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, our 3 offices in Houston, as well as online and live broadcast. And today we have a wonderful agent, fairly new in the business, going into his 3rd year in the business, Jeffery Krause.
Hello.
And Jeffery is with Briggs, Freeman, Sotheby International. And those of you that are watching in the classroom right now in the Dallas-Fort Worth region, you know Randy Smith. And Randy and Kelly Rush actually were the ones that said you need to interview Jeffery Krause. He's a good guy. He's done well in a short time. So welcome, Jeffery.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. It's our pleasure. And then John Altic with JLA Realty.
Hi, Rita.
And it's so good to see you. This gentleman, this swell guy, is at our school regularly. He's there certainly for career fair. He's there sponsoring, and his company has grown so aggressively in the last few years that I really wanted to bring you in and have you talk to our students and our experienced agents on what it's like to open your own company and have agents, recruit agents, train agents. So as you can see today, we have a really fun and a very inspiring combination. We have our inspiring agent who's been in the business almost 3 years, and then we have John, who in the last 8 years has opened multiple offices and has how many agents now?
Somewhere between 875 and 900.
Okay, pretty impressive, very impressive. So we're going to just jump in because it's all about them. And I know you want to have your iPads, your pen, paper ready to go to take some great notes because you're going to get some wonderful words of wisdom. I know you are. And let's start right out with the question. I have never had anyone just say to me, from the time I was a little kid, I wanted to be a real estate agent. We know that real estate agents, brokers come from all walks of life. So, Jeffery, what made you decide to go into real estate? Was there a defining moment, or what was it that grabbed your interest?
Well, I come from a technology background, so I've always done like IT networks and hardware and stuff like that. And straight out of high school, my mother owned a computer company. So so I just got certifications and stuff like that, and that's what my background was. But got to a point where it was it wasn't ever exciting for me. It wasn't fun or glamorous. There was nothing glamorous about it.
You are not meant for technology analytical world.
No. So I've always loved. Me and my wife used to go and visit open houses just for fun, just to look at the beautiful houses and whatnot. And, you know, the shows on TV, you know, Chip and Joanne and all the other good stuff.
Aren't they fun?
People, but, so I said, why not? Why don't just let's make a jump, let's make a career change. And, you know, the money was appealing as well, and there's no cap to how much you can make, you know, and so that was very appealing to me. Decided, you know, I still kept my job and went to Champions every night after I got off work until 10 o'clock, I think.
Exactly,
the night classes.
9:45.
Yeah, and then you know, did all the classes, did a couple of weekend classes, and then, you know, took my test and passed it, and then the rest was history.
You know, from the beginning, I always wanted to make sure that the schedule fit the student. That's why we have the night, we have half day morning, and then all day, and then weekend. And when I say to people, oh, we're open 7 days a week, they're like, no, you're not. Not really. I'm like, oh, yeah, we are. Full speed ahead so that people like you can keep your job while you're getting your license. Well, that was a big decision, just to jump in from technology world into the sales world. and congratulations for doing that. It obviously was what you were meant to do.
I think so.
I think so. Now, is your wife involved in real estate? I didn't even ask.
Not. She's. We're thinking about getting her license because she's. I speak Japanese a little bit, and you know, she's from Japan, so she's Japanese. We wanted to kind of focus in on that kind of niche market kind of thing. So
very good, yeah. Very good.
So I'm kind of trying to train her to be my assistant.
So you speak Japanese. That's pretty impressive. We're going to have you say a few words in just a minute.
Don't ask me that. Don't.
So, John.
Yes.
What made you decide to jump into real estate and not only be in real estate, but then start your own company, your own brokerage? So
I took the corporate America route. Out of college, I went to work for Hershey Chocolate, so I sold chocolate for 14 years.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I was out of Houston when I was in the Houston market, but yes. And real estate started as a hobby. I was a flipper. I'd buy houses and flip them. We didn't have kids at the time. I had a lot of time on my hands. So it started out that way. And I'm like, why don't I get my real estate license and do my own deals? So I go down that route. I go to Champions.
Thank you.
Absolutely, you know, I'm the biggest fan. Got my real estate license and just started doing my own deals. And then you get a friend that would want something. Because I still had that corporate America background and I was still there. And I was with Hershey up until 5 years ago. So if you'll notice, JLA has been around since 2011. But we went full in 5 years ago.
Well, you've done remarkably.
Yeah, it's been a crazy run in 5 years. I was actually a Century 21 owner for a couple of years. I went to work for Century 21 right out of your school, and then had the opportunity to buy into that franchise. And it didn't. I'm not a franchise guy. Yeah. Really, it was back in a time frame, you know, when I noticed that real estate was moving away from the brand, and that is strangers doing business with strangers. You know, back in the day when I started, you could sit in the property room. They'd go to the Yellow Pages. That's how long I've been doing this. Wow. And they would call. We'd say, hey, I need to sell my house. And you didn't know them. And with the influx of social media, our whole society became built around referrals. And if you look at the business now, and I'm sure you can attest to this, you look at the business now, it's all coming from your friends, family, and that close network, who then start to refer you out. So my model when JLA was in my head and I wanted to go do this was that we've got to make it very agent-centric. It's no longer about, you know, big branding on, you know, the Yellow Pages or a Super Bowl ad.
Right.
That doesn't make the Super Bowl ad doesn't make your cell phone ring. So that was where the idea came from for JLA, and then started that, you know, sold my share of the Century 21, started JLA out of my house, and it was just kind of some friends would come over and work for me. I didn't have very many agents, and then 5 years ago I decided to make the jump. I took a package with Hershey and opened that first office with 22 agents 5 years ago, and now we just signed the lease on the Baytown, which will be, I think, number 15th office, and 15 offices in 5 years.
I've not even been able to keep up with you.
I don't keep up some days.
I'm glad
either.
I didn't guess how many offices I would have been off.
Yeah, it's been a crazy 5 year run, but a great time. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That is incredible. So, right now in both of your careers, if you think back, for our new people that are watching today and sitting there saying, how in the world did these two gentlemen end up being able to make this their total income for their family? Are there just a couple of activities you did as a brand new agent that you can think back on? Or when you are counseling new agents, what do you tell them at the beginning they should do? You want to start? Jeff?
Me? Okay. I would say one of the things that I tried to focus on was networking. I still do. Networking. Like going to, you know, if you look on Facebook or anywhere, there's always events for realtors, and you can meet mortgage people, insurance people. Making those, you know, real estate is a relationship business.
Absolutely.
I believe it's all about relationships. So the more people you know, the more people that know you, and you can stay on top of mind with those people, then I think that's where business comes from. So
for sure. So networking, and we tell in our marketing class our students to see what's available in your community. What activities are there? Can you be involved in your church? Can you be involved in HOA? Can you be involved in Rotary Club? Can you be involved in a golf association? Can you be involved? whatever your interest is, being involved, making sure you wear your name badge, you've got plenty of business cards, and absolutely networking. Now, you mentioned networking where you're around title people, mortgage people. Why would you want to network that direction?
Well, I believe in partnering up with different, industries like that, so that, I've gotten referrals from title people, from mortgage people.
There you go.
So it's, like I said, it's a referral business and relationship.
And that's something that obviously you've learned. I bring it forward because I'm sure new people are thinking, well, what are they going to do for me?
Right.
And you use the word partner because they are our partners. And a lot of potential buyers go to the lender before they even see an agent to say, some do, what can I qualify for or how much? So your key is networking, starting out.
Networking, and I mean, another thing I did was expires, and like when I first got access to MLS, I always checked expires, and I tried calling them, and that didn't really, I stopped doing it because it wasn't working out so well, but it gave me a chance to talk to people on the phone and get that out of the way, like get that experience, like
comfort level,
So I don't do it anymore, but it helped in the beginning. So.
We have a number of people that I've interviewed, and they've said, Friday is my time to just call my SOI, Centers of Influence. Friday is the time to call expires. I do it religiously. And one of our speakers that we interviewed from San Antonio, Jeff, said, and from the beginning, when I would pick up that phone to call an expired listing to try to get the listing, he said I would have such butterflies in my stomach, and I would think, no, I need coffee first. Oh, I need to go get a snack first. And then he would say, okay, right now you need to make the call, or you're never going to do it. And then he got past that. So what are some things you do and tell your agents to do?
So JLA teaches a different model. I feel like that this business is 100% marketing. We don't sell anything. You're marketing yourself.
It is marketing.
It's a 100% marketing company. So from day one, I talked to them about how are you marketing yourself? Because you're a 1099 independent contractor. You are starting your own business. So if you're not going out here and thinking like, I'm a small business owner, yeah, you got to work for a broker, but I'm a small business owner, and what is my sphere going to see? Who am I telling my story to? That's got to be day one. I don't care if you can't fill out a contract yet. If you don't have a client, you're never going to fill one out.
Right.
So really taking that approach from day one, that this is your company, you've got to market your company, and you were talking in the beginning that everybody comes from a different background. When I look at my top 100 agents, they all do it different. They all come from a different background. They're all different ages. Some use social media, some don't, because they take that approach. This is my company, and how am I going to best market me? And there's no right or wrong way to do it. If you're not somebody that enjoys Instagram, then don't try and push that as part of your marketing, right? And you've got to work your sphere through your marketing. You've got to let them know you're in real estate. I think one of the hardest challenges for new agents is being comfortable enough to tell people, I'm a realtor. And you've got to go out there and put it out front because you're afraid, I don't know what I don't know.
You're
and that's what you were doing by
right.
getting out in front of people and just talking the lingo, is getting out there and saying, listen, this is what I'm doing. This is my career. I'm going to push this. Because we all come into real estate with a brand to begin with. I was the Hershey guy, right? So my whole entire network knew me as the Hershey guy. I had to switch that over to real estate. So if you think about what your background is, and I use this all the time for all of my new agents. If I were to ask your 20 closest friends right now to tell me 5 things about you. Right now you're in class, most of you are sitting in class. Real estate's not one of them. You've not told a soul because you're afraid to tell them yet. Within 6 months, if I call those 20 closest friends and ask them to tell me 5 things about you, if real estate's not one of them, then your marketing's not working. So you've really got to focus in on how do I get my 20 closest friends to know I'm a realtor, and then they will pick you. But how many times have we heard of people saying, listen, my next door neighbor listed their house and it wasn't with me, and I've been a realtor for 8 months.
It's so demoralizing. It happened to me.
Yeah, we've all been there, right? Well, part of that is our fault because we didn't market well. We didn't get our name in front of even our next door neighbor. Yep. Because they already thought of you as something else. And it was really hard for me to go from something fun and exciting like chocolate to real estate because I'm like, wow, what are you doing? So that's my big push for new agents is really get that marketing piece in your head from day one. How am I going to get my name out there?
That's great.
Yes,
advice.
absolutely.
I love it when John says, it doesn't matter if you know how to write a contract right now. If you're brand new, first you need a buyer or a seller.
Yep.
So working on the buyer and seller. So what do you do when you have that agent or those agents? They're suited up, they're trained, they just can't seem to make the leap to really get into real estate. Do you counsel with them?
Yeah, and that it's a very one-on-one situation, and it's one of the things, like, I talk about 15 offices and 900 agents. I have the most amazing management team I put up against anybody in the country, because there's no way that John could keep track of that many agents and that many people. So I've got a leadership team of 3 people right underneath me, my 3, Ronnie Dees, Kim Scott, Amanda Seidel, seasoned veterans, right? They all know what they're doing, they've been in the business a long time, and then all my managers report up to them. We spend a lot of time one-on-one because we've got to find out what that barrier is. I absolutely think just about anybody can find their way into real estate and be successful. Doesn't matter if you're an introvert, an extrovert, what your background is. As long as you find that what you're comfortable doing, and we've got to get out in front of them. We've all got friends. Everybody I know has friends. That's your network, but you've got to be comfortable speaking to them. So when we have those agents, and we do a lot, sometimes it's just finding that code. Like, what is it that's not clicking with you? And it's a comfort level. It's rarely knowledge, right? You pass that
so
test.
It's really one-on-one communication.
Yes, you've got to sit down with somebody and really, and we call it the whiteboard treatment. We put them in the training room in the whiteboard and find out who they are, right?
Oh.
What makes you tick? What are your hobbies? Do you have a family member that can help you market yourself? Who are you talking to? And one of my things is there's 2 places you can't sell a house: sitting at home in your yoga pants.
Exactly.
You can't sell, and you can't sell it to another realtor. No. So if all you're doing is hanging out with realtors, you're not going to be successful. And if all you're doing is sitting at home doing laundry and
it's
not going to happen. So it's getting out and finding what it is that we need to do to get you successful.
So that is wonderful information. I hope you all took down on evaluating yourself once you're licensed, and if there's that point where you're not getting out there and doing what you should do, then talk to your manager, trainer, and maybe figure out, what do I need to do to make that breakthrough? So Jeffrey is a fairly new agent, and I'm not going to say that anymore.
He's seasoned at this point. Come on.
2 years in the business, now you're rocking and rolling, and you are, and I congratulate you for that. Can you let our students, customers know, what is a day in the life of Jeffrey like? What do you do in the morning, getting up ready for your career?
Oh, well, every day feels well. No, I shouldn't say it feels different, but it's usually take the kids to school, go home, eat a little breakfast, get in front of my computer, and usually by then the phone starts ringing. And so I work with investors. I work with people looking for.
How did you find investors? Did they find you? How did that happen?
Yeah. Actually, the one I'm doing the most business with right now, he found me just on Sotheby's website and called me up, and I guess that's the first time that's ever happened. I've worked with a couple of other, just nothing ever materialized. So, but this guy is actually he's pretty solid. So, but between that and current listings and deals that I'm working on, I spend most of my time in front of my computer and calling to make sure everything's inspections, everything's on track, and that's one of the big things about when you have a listing is keeping everybody together and on a schedule. And
exactly.
I had this most recent listing I closed last week, but it was a tough one because the tenants didn't want to move out, and then finally we got them to move out, and then the owner travels back and forth to Mexico, and he decided that the week of closing he was going to go back to Mexico, so we had to keep pushing back closing, and it was a mess. But finally we got everybody, the lenders and everybody else on track, and we got it closed. And you'll have those sometimes. So
yeah, I was going to say, new people say, I had the strangest transaction. There's so many strange transactions.
Every transaction is strange,
yeah.
Rita. Like, oh goodness, yeah.
And working through them and getting to closing and funding is like not as easy as it looks. And yet you said it so succinctly, both of you, that you are your own boss. You work your own hours. You're a 1099 person, so at least expenses that you have, you get a write-off on your income tax. But just thinking of you, Jeff, and your career and day to day, do you work 7 days a week? Do you work 6 days a week? Have you ever really just thought, well, how many hours a week am I working? Just to give our students an idea.
I would say it's tough with me because it doesn't feel like a job, so I want to do it whenever I can. And I was mentioning my wife is Japanese, so she's got that mindset of letting me work as much as I want. So if I'm at home, I'm in my office working, and that's phone calls on the computer, and it's not because I feel I need to, I want to, and it's just...
Well, and you said something we hear all the time, it's not like a job. If
It's
you
not.
enjoy what you're doing, it's fun.
It's great.
And working at home is fun. And you have 2 children.
Yeah.
I think, what?
4 and 10.
4 and 10.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I didn't say 8. 4 and 10.
Hi, kids. They're probably watching.
Good. Yay. So say good morning to them in Japanese.
Ohayou gozaimasu, mocha and beckham.
Aw,
Yoroshiku.
very cool.
I think that's impressive.
That's
Like,
very
I'm sorry,
impressive.
I wish I could do that. That's
No.
impressive.
It is. Well, good. So you gave our students an idea that when they are self-employed and they have this new career in real estate, most definitely you can work out of your home. Agents need a place to land when they're showing property and they're out looking, I'm sure, Starbucks and other places. You know, we all see each other in there having conferences and such. So let's talk to John for just a minute. With all of those offices and agents, what kind of hours do you put in? And is it really different from how it was at Hershey?
I will definitely go with this isn't a job. I love it. I don't get up in the morning like, wow, I gotta go to work. Right?
Yeah,
I just don't. And I think that's the greatest thing to come for me, because my wife and I were both in corporate America back at that time frame. Now she's at home with the kids
And tell her hello.
Hi, Kelly. And counsels with me at whatever I come home and all craziness, right? So, you know, when I look at the business, I probably work more now. I left the office at 1 last night. I went home, had dinner with the kids, put everybody to bed, and went back to the office and worked. Not because I have to, it's because I enjoy it. It's a big piece of who I am. So I probably work more now than I ever have. It's a different type of work. Now I spend a lot of time on the phone with agents and putting out fires and working on new offices and new managers. So it's a different type of work. I will say this, I have agents in my office that do $2.5–3 million a year and only work a couple days a week because they've got young kids. Okay, I've also have agents that put in 40 hours a week and make the same amount of money. It all depends on how organized you are. It all depends on how well you are at managing the infrastructure. Kids, a lot of agents have young kids, and so they maybe only have from 8:15 after drop off till 3 o'clock before pickup. You've got to be extremely organized to pull this off. The one piece that I will put, one piece I'll put into this is the whole work-life balance can get out of control in this business if you're not careful. Especially when you come in, that first 6 months is brutal, but you're super excited and you're trying and you're running. Some people have immediate success. Some people it takes them a little bit longer. There's no rhyme, no reason to it. But then when that success starts to happen, you can really get caught up in it. Oh my gosh, I've got 4 listings and 3 buyers, and then I've got to go to this event because there's an event every day in real estate. Right. You know, so I have to sometimes pull people back and say, wait a second, you know, you missed 3 soccer games, you missed the dance competition.
Good for you.
You can't let real estate, because real estate will take your life over, because our clients want us when they want us right now.
Oh, yeah.
And setting those boundaries is really hard sometimes because you don't.
You got to teach training.
You're exactly right. And you've had to go through that. Like, listen, I don't want to show houses at 9:30 on Sunday morning, which I can. Super boxes are open. I need to be at church with my family if that's something that your family, it's important to your family. So figuring out the work-life balance can sometimes be very, and it can be very difficult in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And it can cause a lot of problems at home. And what good is the money and the success in real estate if you're fighting a battle at home and your kids are wondering why you're gone all the time? And you don't want that. So getting that right early is extremely important. Extremely important.
So how do you suggest getting it right?
Lots of communication, right? For those of you that are married and have spouses, let them know up front what you're doing and what kind of hours that this may take, but also setting your own boundaries. I use this one a lot. My dentist is a really good friend of mine. If I wake up on Sunday morning with a toothache, he's not coming in on Sunday to take care of my tooth.
Right.
He's going to say, John, I'm going to work you in tomorrow on Monday morning. We're professionals too, right? Don't ever lose track of the fact that we run professional businesses here, so you don't always have to jump when they want you to jump, and you don't always have to give up your life for that. But you've got to always set the right expectation. Yes, my next available appointment is tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Most people are going to be okay with that,
They
right?
are.
And it's hard though, because you're like, oh my gosh, I've got a lead, I'm going to run, I'm going to jump, and then you find that that's all you're doing. Yep, it's all you're doing, especially in the beginning, because we get so excited about those first deals. We'll do just about anything, right? We'll drive 9 hours across the state of Texas to show a house.
Or just raw land.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. So it's very hard for all of us, even myself included at this point in my career, when I get excited about something, we've got a new office opening or a new team coming on, to make sure that I don't get my priorities out of track a little bit.
I love it.
Yeah.
With all of our people that we've interviewed, they kind of skirted around that.
No, I don't skirt around much, Rita.
And I am so pleased that you brought that forward. In our Marketing 1 class, we have like 3 circles, and it's personal and sort of the personal, and then the business, and then spiritual, mental, whatever you want to call it. But those 3 circles. And I always like to compare it to a 3-legged stool. And it's got to be fairly level.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, starting out, I believe and feel that not potential agents, you are going to be agents, or you are agents, you do put in a lot more hours on the front end, getting your career started.
Yes.
But I love your description of the dentist, because it's true. I've always believed, like for Jeffrey, with his 10-year-old, if he needed to go to an activity, the beauty of real estate is your customer doesn't know that your appointment is a basketball game or a soccer game or whatever. It's an appointment, and that allows you to have that flexibility. But
you just touched on something I did, which I think you also have to put your personal time in there. Make time for you, right?
Time for you.
I often say this when in the classes, like, go get your nails done. If you're female and you like to get your nails done, make that part of your day, because if not, then you're doing something for everybody else 24/7. And you got to take that mental break for yourself. I mean, I have hobbies. I'll sometimes skip away in the afternoon. Work on my truck. I'm rebuilding a vehicle, right? Skip away and go do something for you. I find, we're travelers, I love to go to the beach. Schedule those things in, plan for those, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to step away, refresh, get your brain back together, because you're going to be much better than that person that we've seen them in real estate. They just look like walking zombies, because you can work 24/7 in this business.
And you even hear some brag that they haven't had a vacation in 5 years, and you want to say, shame on you.
No, you're closing $10 million a year, and you've not found a way to get a vacation in. That's not.
Definitely
That's.
personal. And often those best ideas come when you're out and about.
Oh, my management team doesn't want me going to the beach, because I come back with all kinds of crazy ideas. They're like, John, please don't go. We don't want that.
Exactly. So, do you have a client, do you have a program that you like to use to help you keep in touch with your centers of influence?
I've used, I don't know, I started
Do you have
out...
a drip campaign? That's what I'm really asking.
Yeah, I started out with Remax for a little while, and then I switched it over to Briggs, Freeman, Sotheby, and we used a different program that, now I'm using one called Resora, and ReChat is our CRM. So I like using that. It's okay to send out like seasonal emails and touches and stuff like that, but one of the things like we were talking about earlier, the relationship part of it, I actually like sending. I'm a big texter, so I send a lot of text to not advertising, but just touching people, talking to people, building the relationship. I don't have an automated AI type thing that I like to use, because I manually do it. So
at Inman in January, one of the speakers said, if you just took all of your contact list and went through and texted everybody in your contact list in your phone and just said, hey, how are you doing? And it was simply, don't talk about real estate. Yeah. It's just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you.
Right.
And the point being, that you will have just now a wonderful wave of new business. And that wave being maybe 3-4 potential prospects, but just by using the people in your own contact and just touching them. And you like to do it via text. Do you ask your clients, do you want me to contact you by email, text, telephone? Do you give them that choice, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, all new buyers I always ask, because everybody's different. Some you know, some people like emails, some people like physical phone calls. So which do you prefer? Like I said, I'm a big texter, so I will text. You know, I prefer text, but you know, it's all about customer service. Like, and that was one of the things when I was in the technology industry. I learned a lot because I was dealing with executives and whatnot. But so that was really that's a real big strong suit for me in the real estate industry. If somebody calls, call them back. If you don't get, you know, if you can't take the call,
please call them back.
Or you know, if another agent. Guys, get calls from agents, and you've got a listing, answer your phone, please.
Please.
And quickly.
Yeah. You talk about, I watched 900 agents do their business all different ways. And I think the key is to have some sort of system. Kim Scott's one of my leadership team. I think she has 17,000 people in her database.
Impressive.
And she's a database junkie. To the point that her birthday cards for all of her clients are already done in January in a file folder with the date where the stamp goes, and she just has to pull up January, put the stamp on. I would never get there. Like, if that happened to me, somebody needs to find out who stole me and replace me, right? That is not how, so that would never work for me. What I challenge everybody when you're going down this road is do get a system in place and do what you like to do. How is it that you like best to be communicated with? I'm guessing you like to be texted too. Our network is normally a lot like us, right? So our closest friends and family, we tend to communicate with the same way because we're wired very similarly. I will tell you this, we teach a marketing class, and one of my favorite marketing tools, and it's really hard to do, handwritten note cards.
Yes, absolutely.
If I tell you one thing today in that class is to commit, and you can start now, you don't have to wait till your license because you're not putting anything about real estate in there. Start now, dedicate an hour or 2 hours on a Monday to a day, whatever works for you. I time block on Monday, and I still handwrite note cards. And please don't say anything about real estate in it. You're just touching base with people, and you're making it personal. Then the next question is, hey, John, what do I write? Facebook will tell you everything you need to know. If they've had a death in the family, if they bought a new car, if they took a great trip. Or I buy a ton of cards that just say, thinking of you.
Yeah.
And all you can say is, hey, you're on my mind. I just thought I would reach out and say, hey. All you're trying to do is get yourself in their mindset. So you get them a handwritten note card. You send them a birthday card. They see you passed your license at Championslive Real Estate. They see all these things starting to happen, and the touches are going on. And now you're front and center. Because everybody sitting in that classroom, they know 10 or 15 agents. That means your network knows 10 or 15. Why are you going to stand out? How are you going to be remembered? And I love it that you have one that you really enjoy doing. Text messaging. Boom. There you go. Be consistent, though. I'm guessing you're extremely consistent about it. But have a database, whether it's Lion's Desk or Realty Juggler or something. I think those are grow your own, and have some sort of system in place to track everybody, and then make sure that you're extremely consistent.
And the most important is that consistent
with everything,
and reaching out and touching, because every year NAR comes out with a study that this seller listing their house would like to have used the agent that sold them the house. They don't know where the agent is.
They can't remember.
Lost track.
Yeah.
Right.
Whose fault's that?
Right.
Oh, geez.
And what I really appreciate that both of you have said is he's going to text you, but he's not going to talk about real estate. He's going to find out what's going on in your life. And at the same time, John also said, gosh, whether you're working 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, or 10 hours a week, it's what are you doing in those hours? What are you doing in those hours?
You can do a whole lot of work and not make a dime.
Well, you can spend a lot of time doing this business and not do anything, right?
So
yeah, I see that a lot.
You need a plan. You have to have a plan.
And
you have to stick with the plan and be consistent with the plan. And you said that you don't use any artificial intelligence, because we know that's a hot subject right now. And have you thought about bringing in a buyer's agent? Are you thinking at this point, do I need to increase my team? Because always our new people say, I see teams, I hear about teams, gosh, how do I know when I'm ready for a team? And I throw that out because something that I always tell our new people in the classroom getting their license, they know they're not going to get a salary.
Mm-hmm.
They know when they're licensed, they are an independent person needing a place to land.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing they can do is say, hey, can I be your buyer's agent? Because I want your experience,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to pick your brain, and I want to know how the business works. So just the team idea, have you thought about that, or are you not ready for it, or at what point do you think you might be?
I think when I get to the point where the customer service starts lacking a little bit, then I'll try to bring somebody on. But I'm not quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy and I'm able to keep everybody organized myself. So at this point, I think it'll happen one day.
And that's the answer.
Yeah.
You know it when you don't have time to do the things you want to do.
Sure.
And I love it that you say when customer service is lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Do most of your agents have teams? Do they have buyer's agents?
We have a few teams. Since I teach a very personalized marketing program,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard for a team to build a brand around one person. So when you're building your brand in the beginning, now I do have some that are doing it very successfully.
Mm-hmm.
From my perspective, it's one of the reasons that you see managers with JLA is I reached a point where I couldn't manage any more than the agents I had, so it's time to bring on new managers, right? So I think the answer to that is you will know when that time comes. That how do I grow and how do I continue to expand and still offer the same customer service level? One of the greatest challenges I see with teams is there's never going to be anybody that does like he does. And that's one of the challenges when you bring on people is he's a very personal guy. I can tell that about him. The text message is very personal. He doesn't want to bring somebody in that doesn't want a text message, right? So finding that if you're going to go down that path of team is making sure that there's a cohesiveness there, that you're adding value and learning and growing within a group. There's value in that. And there's value anywhere you can get knowledge, right? So
Exactly.
that's what you're talking about is the knowledge base, and I love that piece of it because you're learning from somebody that's already been there, and then you're offering a service to them to help them grow their business.
So you said you train your agents on how to brand themselves. Can you give us a little piece of that?
Yep. So I'm all about branding yourself individually. So if you look at my logo is multicolored. It's got
It's blue. It's green.
it's got blue bonnets on it. There's a reason for all of this, right? So that doesn't always appeal to everybody, right? And this is my brand. This is mine. So many of the agents that come to work for JLA, like if your favorite color is pink, and you want to brand that part of your brand, and I'm asking you to build your own business, and if like, John, if I was starting my own business today, I'd have pink in the logo, by all means, make my logo pink. Right? I don't care, because that's your business. So growing that individual branding is when your friends and family see your brand, they immediately know it's you, and they immediately know you're in real estate. And I've got a lot of those at JLA, and some people stick with just the basic JLA logo, and they take the basic JLA signs. But others have created these very unique brands around who they are, and they're then growing their personal business inside the JLA model. It works for me because I love to see people find themselves, find their brand, and then grow it outside of that. You're talking about bringing your wife on, and she's from Japan. That's a whole other network. That's a whole other branding piece, right? And being able to capture that because they're going to be looking for something that you're not going to provide, so you're already seeing an advantage there. That's part of the brand. So it's finding your brand is who you are, what makes you tick. I have a lot of people that have hobbies, and they use their hobby as part of their brand because that's where they're meeting new clients.
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of that. If you ride horses and you're a big horse person, it's fun to go market yourself within the hobby that you love to do. And so if you're at a horse event or you're showing horses or riding horses with other people, you have something in common, easy to talk to them, and you make that part of your brand so that they don't forget, we ride horses together, but she's also a realtor. So the branding piece is very unique, and I think it's the future of real estate.
It's very important.
Well, and it's a change in real estate from when I got in the business. You would never branded yourself back 15 years ago. You took the company brand and you didn't move from it. You get in big trouble.
You need to partner with the company, for sure.
So and then there are rules at Trek about marketing and my information on there and their information. Sure. But finding that piece that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to go push my company. If you're pushing your company, what makes you unique, you're going to work harder at it. You're going to be more ingrained in it.
Sure.
And then ultimately everybody
wins.
successful.
Everybody wins. Yep.
Do you feel like you have a certain niche in the marketplace, Jeffrey? Do you tend to sell luxury homes? Do you tend to focus in that direction? And I simply say that because of the Sotheby's international brand.
Yeah, so I joined Sotheby's back in September. So I'm still, because I wanted to focus more on luxury. So I'm still trying to get into that market, doing a lot of open houses for agents that have the higher price listings, which I personally like doing open houses. I try to do as many as I can because that gives you the opportunity to door knock or, you know, like hit up the whole net. You know, I usually do 5 and 5 on each side and just say, hey, I'm doing an open house. Would you like to stop by? Do you know anybody else that is moving into the neighborhood, or, you know, this?
Do you realize some people now are just like their stomach's kind of cramping a little bit? You talk about, I knock on doors, 5 houses.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just one of the things that has worked for me, and you'll be surprised at how many people actually, you know, say, okay, I'll stop by, and then you get their information. So when are you thinking about selling your house or something like that? And, and it just snowballs from there. You get their email address and their phone number, and you keep touching them, you know, keep in touch with them, send them an email or market report or something like that, and it helps. And so that's helping me break into the luxury market a little bit.
Do you farm your own neighborhood?
I should. I haven't yet, though. I've been so busy, I haven't really had a chance to do that. But
That's a great answer, though.
Yeah.
You've been so busy.
Yeah.
Good problem.
Yeah. So but as far as niche, I play soccer a lot, so that's helped. I've gotten a lot of business from people that also play, you know, soccer. I've known throughout the years and stuff like that. When they think of selling or buying a house, they call me. So I've gotten a lot of business
It's
that way.
exactly what we were talking about. Your hobby,
Right.
or your sport, whatever you love, and you get your prospects from that naturally.
Yeah.
Because they get to know you,
Organically,
and they get to
yeah.
like Jeffrey.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the door knocking piece. One of the things I talk about that, it's a great place to make your mistakes. You don't know those people. I would rather you go.
You know, I want you to repeat that one more time.
So
These new people need to hear that.
Door knocking in open houses or answering, you know, phones in the office is a great place to learn the business, and it's a great place to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. We all do. I'd rather make that mistake with a stranger I don't know versus my aunt who's ready to buy a house, and I'm making all kinds of mistakes because that's something that's already locked and loaded. Make your mistakes by sitting open houses and door knocking or cold calling. I'm not an advocate of either one because it's not my style. I don't like people telling me no on the phone, which, you know, that's why you got out of it, right? But it is a great place to learn those skill sets and get comfortable.
It is.
Yeah.
And I love it because you said you don't know the people answering the door.
They don't know. They tell you to go away. It doesn't matter. It's not like your aunt telling you to go away.
I'm going to move off of my question for a minute because this student has been wanting to ask, gee, if it's so important that we're good at networking, how do we learn how to improve our networking skills? And I'm going to give my answer, and my answer is take our business etiquette class, because in the business etiquette class we do talk about networking and how to do it. Right. Do you have any advice for that student wondering, how do I learn how to network? And maybe you just gave it to them with knock on doors and make mistakes and see, just get that self-esteem going where
I have
you're not
plenty of
afraid
successful agents
rejection.
that I would call introverts. Right? They're not comfortable going in and capturing a room, and they're not comfortable going in and having that big personality. And I'm guessing that's when most people say when they're asking, like, hey, I don't think I'm good at networking, it's because you're not comfortable there. That's okay. A lot of times maybe it's networking through social media because you can sit behind a computer and type, right? It's finding your skill set. Like, what is it that I'm comfortable doing, and how do I use that to network? Now, I will say this, I think we've all grown in real estate, and you're going to get more comfortable. I think with knowledge comes comfort, going out and networking. Confidence, yeah. And so I feel like it's more personal, right? So I'm a people person. I want to talk to people. I want to get in front of people. More so than, but I'm not really a writer. I'm not going to sit and write a blog because that's not my style. There's so many ways to network. You just have to find the one that fits you. Right. But I think most people feel like networking is going to an event, handing out a bunch of business cards and talking about my business. And there's so many other ways to network besides that.
But show up and start getting that practice of I'm here and wearing my name badge, and then people will start talking with you, you talk with them, and it becomes more and more natural, and you do gain the self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to give it a try.
You got to get outside your comfort zone.
Get out and about.
Well, I talk about this a lot when I'm teaching a class.
Uh-huh.
Kim Scott, who one of my key people, and myself, we will go to an event together. Now, she's going to stand in the corner, meet 5 people, and know everything about them. Right? So you're going to know everything before they're gone, and they're going to be friends. I'm going to work the whole room, get 65 business cards, and not know. Mine's more long, less. It's more shallow,
a scattered approach,
right? And she's more of a depth approach. They both work.
They do.
They both work. It's finding the one that's comfortable for you, but the key is you still got to go to the event. Even if you only meet one person, if you go to a networking event and meet one other person that's standing in the corner and not really talking, then it's a good day. That's one more than you had before you went.
So, thinking about business and new people, and today we have around 600-800 people watching us, and we're so pleased for that and so appreciative. And a lot of them are thinking, you guys look so sharp, you have business, your business is growing. How do you start when you don't have money? So can you maybe give our new people some ideas that they can do where it's not about having a lot of money to invest in your marketing, but what are some things you can do that won't cost a lot? Anything come to mind?
When I started out and didn't have a lot of money, I used social media a lot. I love Facebook and Instagram, and I post I still do. I mean, every day or at least a couple times.
Our agent in Huntsville, who was here fairly recently, he said that's how he started his business, which is very successful also. And it was all social media, where basically it's free, but you just have to be consistent.
Well, social media has made this a lot easier business to get into, because when I started, it was you picked a farm area and you mailed out postcards for 6 months, and you hoped that somebody would call you, and the success rate on that is miserable, right? If you got 1%, you were happy. Whereas in social media, you're already touching base with people you know. They're already going to listen to you. They're already following you. I love social media. I love open houses. Open houses don't cost you anything.
And they work.
And they work. And again, gives you, an open house is going to be tough because people get frustrated. I only have 2 people. That's 2 more people than you had before you set the open house. So there's a lot of ways to find that creative side.
And as a new agent, those experienced agents are happy if you just sit on their open houses because it makes the homeowners happy.
Right.
Yep.
And so at this point in your life, do you still wonder and worry about the next closing? Is there a transaction? Are there transactions in the pipeline so that I don't have to worry anymore about paying my bills? Or do you think that will never happen? And then I ask that question to all the people I interview. And so far, I'm at 100% with the answer.
Are you?
No pressure, right? No pressure. No pressure there.
Do you feel confident now that there will always be those commissions? That's the question.
I'll let you start.
Oh, man.
I'll put you on the spot.
Poor guys, they're on the spot.
It's all right. I don't worry about it right now because I'm trying to change my mindset to it's a world of abundance instead of scarcity. So I think as long as people are buying or selling houses, there will always be a place for a real estate agent.
I love that answer because with all of the disruptors, that's the new trendy word now,
Sure.
with all the disruptors in the marketplace, we'll have experienced agents come into CE and say, what are we going to do about this particular business model that's new and different? What are we going to do about this particular company? We're losing a top producer. And in my mind, the answer is there have always been disruptors. Always been disruptors. And it's the way you do your business and how you do your business, and that there will always be sales out there, and so there is the potential for always having income. Now, I'm going to listen to John's answer, and then I'm going to tell you what the overwhelming majority say.
So, I'm a pretty free spirit. And I feel like I'm Team Jeffrey over here. That if you've got the right attitude, the business is always going to be out there. Okay? You may have to shift, you may have to turn, you may have to go in a different direction. People have to have a place to live, and people are always going to be buying and selling houses. Now, one of the challenges is, as you know, if you've been in this business 20, 25 years, where you started your business before social media, you've got to learn to turn with that, right?
Exactly.
You got to stay up front. You got to stay ahead of it. I can tell you, my 25-year-old agents coming in make my head hurt some days as to what they want to do and the technology that they're after. But you've got to listen to them, and you've got to, because that's the future of our business. So for me, I don't know. I guess I don't lose sleep over it. I feel like that the business is always going to be there in some form or fashion.
Sure.
I agree with you on the disruptors. They're coming in hot and heavy right now. That's great for us. Competition is fabulous. It forces us to look at our business model and say, how do we get better? How do we
improve?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this has been an old industry that for years was kind of stagnant, and then all of a sudden all kinds of crazy stuff's going on. How much have you seen, right? So for being okay with things are going to change, they're changing daily, but the core values of our business, it's still taking care of our clients, one-on-one, our sphere, our industry is going to always be here. 5 cents worth.
Yeah, when I first started, and after I got my license, I even had a conversation with Kelly about the same subject. You know, like I worried about the disruptors and stuff like that. But the more I got into the industry, I realized that because it's a relationship-based business, if you keep up with those relationships, somebody buys a house, typically it takes about 7 to 8 years before they think about buying a house again, something like that. So if you're constantly touching them, or just keeping in touch with them, birthday cards, whatever, like John was saying, that you don't have to worry about the open doors and other,
they're going to be here.
Yeah, a real person.
Well, and I did nail on the head. Being a real person. What you're talking about is here's who I am. We want to do business with people we know.
Exactly.
Right? I use this a lot. If I go to the same hairdresser, and I use this in marketing class all the time. If she moves to Oregon, and I need my hair cut, I don't just drop into the next Great Clips I pass and say, can somebody cut my hair? Right? I don't do that.
No.
So if I won't get my hair cut that way, why would I pick somebody like that to sell my house?
Yeah.
You won't.
You won't.
So it's taking that broad approach that I'm an expert. People want to do business with me as long as they know this is what I do. That's the biggest challenge, is they got to know what you do. They will do business with you, and then they will tell their friends and family. I mean, you're at a point now where you're getting those referrals from your referrals, right? That's when you know your marketing's hitting really well, is when somebody you don't know calls and says, hey, my buddy of a buddy called and said, that's
then you know
awesome.
You're in.
Yeah. Well, that's where your comfort level gets, that you're not so worried anymore.
Right.
You didn't spend a dime on that referral because it was three people down.
So let me mention 2 things from this. Number 1, anybody interested in this article, and I'll definitely send it to both of you, the Wall Street Journal just a week ago had a wonderful article on the disruptors in the marketplace, and the bottom line to that article was there will always be a need for real estate agents.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
And it told the story of home ownership and what people really look for, and they really look for a John, they look for a Jeffrey. Every single one of the interviewees I've had have said, I know I'm doing my daily work the right way. I know I'm prospecting regularly, so I know there will be business. But I still wonder.
We just broke the mold here, didn't we? Sorry, Rita, we just blew your 100%. Here we go. You didn't know you were going to get 2 of us like that, did you?
Both of you.
On the same day.
I don't, and I think too, if that's all you're worrying about, you're never going to prosper.
No, I don't think that's all they're worrying about.
I just don't think about it. I just go do me.
I love your answer, because I think the point also is, because you are an independent contractor and you're working for yourself, it is totally up to you.
Yep.
And I love that both of you are like, we're doing what we need to do. We're doing it consistently. We know how to be successful. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to go about my daily activities, and it will be there.
It will be there. I want to put something out. Obviously, we're 2 different people. He's got on a suit. If you see me in a suit, I'm probably going to a funeral, right? This is my style. This is his style. Exactly. But the attitude is the same. Okay?
For sure.
Success comes from the attitude that you take.
Sure.
I'm going to get up and I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to do it well, and I'm going to do it with the right people. So it's not who you are and how you dress or what car you drive or what broker you work for, or it is none of that. It's absolutely 100% attitude.
It's attitude, it's your spirit, it is your kindness, it is your work ethic,
Yep.
it is how you were raised,
Yep.
it is just who you are inside, for sure. So we have a number of questions that we really do not have time for, but I'm going to say every one of those questions we will give you an answer back. We save them and we'll send back to you on email. But to finish up today, I want to do a couple of things. One is to, for sure, do what I want to do, and that is tell you about 30 Days to Success. And it's for new people from day one, how to get your business growing off the ground and to have prospects at the end of 30 days. Many of the things we talked about today are in the book. It's also in our Powerhouse Marketing course that you need to take for SAE. So you get it. We have so many wonderful, you get the book and the course. We have so many wonderful other educational programs for our students because we want you to be successful. This is free. It'll be on YouTube, if not this afternoon, tomorrow morning, and you'll see other interviews that we have. And we do it because we want all of our students to absolutely be the best they can be financially as well as on a personal level. It has been delightful talking with both of you today. I told them earlier, the only problem we'll have is running out of time. So I want to end today with Jeffery Krause, Briggs, Freeman, Sotheby's International, by saying if you were able to give advice to your younger self years back, what might that advice be that would be helpful for you in today's world?
I saw this. I think I was thinking, telling myself to get into real estate sooner. I waited too long. I'm 43 years old. So yeah.
Industry.
It's such a great industry, and I mean, Champions, you guys have helped change my life for the better. And
how kind, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's got every. I mean, I know for the Dallas office, they've got so many great instructors out there, and yeah, you guys are great.
Thanks so much. Yeah. So it would be jump right into real estate.
I mean,
ASAP.
Yeah, absolutely.
So John Altic with JLA Realty, an all-around fine guy. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Very similar. I would jump off the cliff faster. Okay. I think that I spent a lot of time in corporate America, which was good for me. It taught me a lot of skills. But there's that fear of failure in life. And at that time I had 2 young kids, and, I'm going out here to start a real estate company. My own insurance, my own everything, right? Mm-hmm. And I think you got to have that confidence to jump. But I would also say surround yourself with the right people quicker. So the quicker you can get the right people around you that will support you and stand behind you and push you, the faster you're going to be successful in anything. So I'd probably in my mind, go faster.
Go faster.
Yeah.
So those of you that are wondering if you made the right decision, these 2 successful gentlemen have said they would have done it faster.
Yep.
So thank you for your business at Champions School of Real Estate. Hello to the president of our company over in Austin, Kimberly Didelowitz. And hello to all of our instructors, all of our students, all of our managers, our great staff. And we absolutely have the best champions in the whole world that come through our doors, and this is an indication of 2 very fine champions. So thank you again for being here today.
Thank you, Rita. It's an honor.
JLA Realty and Briggs, Freeman, Sotheby International. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.